Today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting, and we're going to compare it to a 3 to 5 meal a day approach. And I'm going to be talking about the pros and the cons of each strategy and who they're more specifically designed for, as far as recreational lifters, general fitness freaks, and high performance athletes. So let's dive in here. Alright guys, so first off I want to talk about what intermittent fasting actually is. Intermittent fasting is basically when you pick a certain amount of time where you're going to eat. So let's just say you don't eat breakfast in the morning and you wait until lunchtime, and then you start your meals at noon and you eat all the way until the time period where you decide you're going to shut it off, which it could be, let's just say, noon to 6 o'clock at night. From what I've seen over the years, the most popular way of doing things is people actually won't eat breakfast in the morning. They'll go all the way until lunchtime, or even they'll push it till 2 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock, and then they'll start their feeding window. So this method has been extremely popular over the years. I see a lot of personal trainers using it with their clients. I'm actually not in favor of it. I'd rather go the 3 to 5 meals a day route, just because of basic physiologic changes that can happen throughout the day. So this is basically just a little guide that you can look at. It's just very simple. You wake up at 7 in the morning and then you go all the way until 12. You don't eat anything during this time. You can have coffee. Some people will like to have coffee, so they'll do that, and they'll go all the way till noon, and then they'll have their first meal. Okay, and then once they have their first meal, they will go, maybe they'll go till 3 o'clock right here. So this will be 3 p.m. and they'll have a snack, and then they'll go to dinner at 5:36 and have another meal. So the people that I talk to want to know if there's any advantages to this and what are the pros and cons mainly of doing this intermittent fasting style of eating. In my personal opinion, it can be a great way to kickstart a diet if you're going into a weight loss phase. And this is because you are essentially eliminating one meal out of your intake throughout the day, which will drop your calories and put you into a deficit. So that's where I can see this diet being extremely effective for people. It really can kickstart the weight loss by just eliminating one meal out of the day. So here are some of the complications that are involved with intermittent fasting. The biggest problem that I see with intermittent fasting, or this type of style of eating, is that after you get into a calorie deficit for a couple of days and you start to lose the glycogen storage in your body, the window where you wake up in the morning and then going to 12 o'clock really becomes hard because your blood sugar is super low when you get up out of bed. So after a couple of days of being in that deficit, you could have really, really low energy levels from the time you wake up all the way until your first meal at 12 o'clock. Which I think is not good, especially when people want to get a lot of stuff done in the morning, right? So if you have low energy from the time you wake up all the way until your first meal at 12, you're not going to be as productive in this stretch, which is going to be a negative for you, especially if you are trying to get as much stuff done as possible in the morning so you can have the afternoon to yourself. So personally, intermittent fasting isn't my favorite way to go. My favorite way to go is more the traditional 3 to 5 meals a day, splitting up my protein intakes and my carbohydrate intake throughout the day so I have stable blood sugar and I feel nice and energized. So let's change directions a little bit here, and let's talk about how this applies to the muscle building process. So can you put muscle on doing an intermittent fasting program? You absolutely can. You can put a ton of muscle on. There are a ton of personal trainers that use this with their clients and have great success with it. So my issue obviously is getting tired early in the morning if you're not eating enough and your blood sugar is super low. As far as putting on muscle mass, you can absolutely do it as long as you're getting enough protein and carbohydrates in that feeding window that you've decided to choose. Is intermittent fasting the most effective way to build muscle mass? The answer to that is actually no. You're better off following a plan where you're eating 3 to 5 meals a day. So one of the things that you can't do is you can't actually store protein. So when you intake a big protein meal, your body is going to use the amino acids for all the different things that it needs to do, maintain and build muscle tissue in your body. And then the rest is going to get turned into either carbohydrate or it's going to get turned into urea and you're going to pee it out. Your body just can't store it. So if you are following an intermittent fasting program and you're not eating in the morning from 7 till 12 o'clock, you're not giving your body the amino acids that it needs in the morning to start building new tissue. So if you're coming from an athletic performance standard, this is obviously not the best way to go. You don't want to intermittent fast because you need to get that fuel and those amino acids into the body's system in order to start generating and building new tissue so you can maximize your gains. Now, this isn't to say that an intermittent fasted style of eating, you can't put on muscle. You can. There's lots of people that do this style and they put on a tremendous amount of size. I'm just saying from an athletic and a performance standard, this isn't the best way to go. You want to eat 3 to 5 meals a day where you are taking in protein at each of those meals to give your body the best ability it can to generate and build muscle tissue. So here's the downfall as it relates to intermittent fasting versus the traditional 3 to 5 meals per day approach. It has to do with protein. So when you wake up at 6 in the morning in an intermittent fasting lifestyle, you have to go from 6 till 12 or beyond, whatever hour you decide to start eating. Could be 6 to 8 hours. If you go this period without eating, you're virtually not getting any amino acids into the blood for 6 to 8 hours. If you're eating a traditional 3 to 5 meals a day, you wake up at 6 in the morning, you have your first protein dose here, you wait 3 hours, you have your next protein dose here, you wait another 3 hours, you have your next protein dose there, you wait another 3, you have your next protein dose there, and then finally at 6 you have your last meal and you have your last protein dose right there, okay? So the obvious advantage to the 3 to 5 meals per day is you're hitting your body with more protein doses throughout the day to give your bloodstream the amino acids it needs to start generating new tissue. You can virtually balance your protein doses throughout the day and stretch it out over a longer period of time. The other issue that I have with the intermittent fasting approach is the refractory period relating to protein dosage. So with the refractory period as it's relating to protein dosage, you'll have your first bout of protein at 6 in the morning here, let's just say 6 in the morning, your first bout, and then the refractory period is this length of time where you don't eat up until your next meal. So you have your first meal at 6 a.m. and then you wait 3 hours and then you have your next meal at 9 a.m. and have your next protein dosage there. That gives you a 3-hour window to let your body eliminate the amino acids that you got from your first meal and resensitize your cells so that protein can be used as efficiently as possible in the next meal. So let's just say instead of waiting 3 hours, you wait an hour and a half and have your second meal at 7:30 in the morning. This hour and a half time window isn't going to give you the ability to flush out all the amino acids that you got from your first meal of the day. And because of this short time window, you're not going to effectively use the protein dosage at your second meal because you already have enough amino acids from your first meal at 6 in the morning to do the job. So in effect, your protein dosage isn't going to be as efficient and as effective if you only wait an hour and a half. You give yourself 3 to 4 hours and then you eat your next meal. So there's the take on it there, guys. Obviously, in an intermittent fasting approach, you're not going to be eating at all in the morning, so you're not giving your body any amino acids whatsoever to start generating new tissue. That's why I think the traditional way of eating 3 to 5 is definitely a better way to go. Especially if you're a high-performance athlete. So that's it for today, guys. That's just the general gist of the intermittent fasting approach when compared to the 3 meals a day approach. Just in review, for if you're going to do intermittent fasting, probably better if you're just a normal recreational athlete or just a recreational person that's going to the gym. But if you're a high-performance athlete and you're trying to maximize your gains as much as possible, eat 3 to 5 meals a day and spread the protein out every 3 to 4 hours. That's the best way to go. If you guys like this video, hit the subscribe button down below and we'll talk to you guys later.